There was so much to talk about that I had to call you over the weekend. We had to have like a pre unleash before this because there was just so much coming at us between the 3-day lavish festivities in Venice. There was too much. There's too much for us to talk about.
It's true, and I'm actually glad we did it because we really sorted out the wheat from the chaff in terms of what we really want to be discussing regarding all these many developments. Now, first among them, and I think I saw this after I spoke to you, there was this amazing paparazzi photo. Gail King is tying Oprah's laces. Kinsey, what do you make of this?
Well, I mean, I didn't realize I was going to say this so soon in the segment, but money does not buy class. I knew it would happen inevitably throughout this process, but I did not realize it was going to be so soon. Money does not buy class. And that is hilarious and foul. But you know what? At the same time, I love you enough to tie your shoe. I
would never ask you, and I would never allow for it. Like, unless like both of my arms were broken,
right?
You know, like, are we supposed to, I think this is proof that there is nobody in Oprah's life, not even Gail King, her great platonic friend, Gail, who is considered to have parity with Oprah on any level. You are the help. If you are not Oprah herself, you are the help.
Well, a lot of people think that in Meghan Markle's last podcast appearance, she hinted that Oprah had become one of her best friends. And I can see Meghan Markle bending over to tie Oprah's shoes in any venue, whether it's on a table or on a Montecito beach somewhere. Oprah opens a lot of doors for people. I guess when she says jump, you say how high, because she can create opportunities for you. But you talk about these people that linger in kind of a dark space. And I certainly consider Oprah Winfrey one of those people. I mean, just Google pictures of her and her BFF, Harvey Weinstein.
Right. And Diddy.
And Diddy.
And, we could go on. But, okay, that image will live in infamy. It's in the running for the first annual Nerve Awards. Okay. Now, I wanted to direct you as well, our collective gaze. As Hoda would say, let's fix our gaze on this Instagram post from the wedding. This is by Sarah Foster, who with her sister Erin, I believe, created the Netflix show No One Wants This.
Yes.
Aptly named. These are Nepo babies. Their father is the insufferable composer/producer David Foster, who many of you troublemakers may know as one former house husband on Beverly Hills. So she let's take a look at this Instagram
post. By the way, he's also known as Prince Harry's chosen father now.
Oh, right. Oh, how could I forget? Well, who wouldn't want to belong to this family of down to earth, regulars? She's got this unending carousel on Instagram of her and her friends, like one of whom is or maybe her husband in silk pajamas on a water taxi. These Venetian water taxis look like something out of North by Northwest. Her caption reads, "Breaking. 2 people in love got married and their friends showed up."
Oh gosh. Well,
so it's our fault. It's the world's fault for paying attention to a disgusting, gluttonous display of wealth and obscenity that cost Jeff Bezos at minimum $50 million. They did it so that the paparazzi would have unobstructed views of the comings and goings, but it's our fault for looking at this thing.
What I sent you a picture early on in the trip where Lauren Sanchez Bezos is waving at people like she's on a Mardi Gras float. Like she knew exactly what she was doing and she pursued exactly what she was doing. But they said that there were the itinerary featured 3 themed parties, including a pajama themed bash. So I'm wondering, clearly we missed the foam party, which that should also be nominated for your award series. The pictures
Agreed.
of them on a yacht covered in foam, money doesn't buy class. But I'm curious to know what the other events were, but perhaps that's why we saw someone on a boat in silk PJs.
I get where you're going with this, and I had a similar thought. And I thought to myself, now that, listen, we are all, our innocence has been lost post freak off. Yeah. Our collective innocence has been lost. So what would surprise us, if anything. And that brings me to this photograph. So again, you and I were talking about like, how are these people have any connection to Lauren Sanchez and Jeff Bezos? One, Sydney Sweeney, I submit for everyone's consideration, who was at this wedding, who was photographed, I believe, on Saturday morning, walking through the streets of Venice with both Tom Brady and Orlando Bloom, who were reportedly fighting for her attentions on the dance floor. What I wouldn't give to see an inebriated Tom Brady attempting to dance, you know? And the inference or the implication seems to be that maybe they partied all night long, all three of them.
Oh, I know. It depended on the outlet that you looked at, but one second she was flirting with Orlando Bloom. She was going to run off and marry Orlando Bloom now that he's Katy Perry free. And then the next second she was with Tom Brady. Like you said, there are some articles that are like, oh, this was the crew to be with, as if something else was going on behind the scenes. Throw in a Leo and that's a math problem I can't work out. But,
she's above his age limit, Kins.
Thank you. Bless you. Very good point. But and for a second I felt bad for her because I thought, oh man, that they're making her out to look a little slutty. But at the same time, like she did this with the Glenn Powell movie. She, despite being engaged to the fiance she recently announced she's no longer with, Anyone But You was coming out, and they purposely set up paparazzi shots and flirted during junkets because they wanted to perpetuate this. Could Sydney Sweeney be leaving her fiance for Glenn Powell? So I feel like she's kind of dipped her toe in there, and there's no going back once you do that. Maybe it's a lesson for future starlets.
Well, let's not forget, speaking of dipped her toe, as of a week or so ago, it was reported that Sydney Sweeney was selling her dirty used bathwater online. So you couple that kind of entrepreneurial mind with the Kardashians, who were like disembarking from water taxis one by one, like oiled up in skin tight leopard print cat suits and Balenciaga disgusting labels like slung around their waists. And my other favorite example of the class that was on display was the reports that Kris Jenner had lobbied Lauren Sanchez, who had only invited Kris and Kim K. Hey, you got to get two of my other kids on this wedding guest list. Like, what are you doing? I've never, like, it is beyond tacky and rude to invite yourself to a wedding that you were not invited to.
Well, I wonder what that plea sounded like. Did that plea sound like, you're now you're reaching multiple, this clearly was supposed to be an event. So is Kris Jenner saying you'll reach multiple generations if you get all the girls? If you've got all the girls, now you've got the younger ones that are paying attention to it. Because their presence necessarily wasn't, I don't ever see those girls with Lauren Sanchez. I do see Kim and Kris with Lauren Sanchez. You see them on social media sharing the different kind of gifts they've recently given each other. There's an established relationship there. I think that Kris knew that this was the place to be seen. And that's why she wanted all of her the girls that put themselves out there the most out there. Courtney stayed home with a kid, Travis Barker. But it also makes you think, like, was Meghan Markle intentionally posting the beach frolicking photo over the weekend to say, like, I'm not mad, I'm not there, when everybody else was there?
Yes. And do you think that Meghan would have done something akin to what Kris clearly did, which is knock on that door and say, hey, had any last minute cancellations? I'd happily be a seat filler.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it reminds me of when we found out that she was in the Hamptons. Was it the G7 summit, G9 summit, some summit in the Hamptons for female entrepreneurs. And no one wanted their photo taken with Meghan. The only people that would take their photo with Meghan was Jamie Kern-Lima and Sarah, the Spanx founder, who we now inevitably know they've worked with her. So, they clearly don't have an issue with her. But yeah, I think Meghan does try to kick down doors and elevate herself socially. And this was a missed opportunity for her.
Oh, was it ever? Well, we're going to get to Meghan and the royals in 1 second. But before we do, I want to ask you your theories as to Anna Wintour's inelegant exit from Vogue. I think, just my opinion, and her hand in both outfitting Lauren Sanchez in this bridal gown, this Dolce and Gabbana custom gown that to me, a little too close for comfort to my eye, really evoked Kate Middleton's wedding dress.
She could never.
And
Yes, I see what you're saying.
Never. She could never. But you know, and then Lauren Sanchez winds up on the day after the Anna announcement, the digital cover of the new Vogue as Here Comes the Bride.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your thoughts.
Of Lauren Sanchez, there, even with the photo, there's this let them eat cake vibe about her, the space mission, the jewelry, the couture. And I've never seen someone so proud of their titties before. And I loved Anna Nicole Smith, so I'm not a total titty hater. So I was so grateful that she put it away for this day, because that was what I was really worried about. But Lauren Sanchez has said in the past she wanted to feel like a princess. I mean, might as well. This isn't your first go round when it comes to weddings. So I do think that there was a Kate Middleton inspiration there. When you look at that dress, I did see that.
Yeah, I mean, she thinks she's royalty now. She's the new Mrs. Jeff Bezos. She's royalty. There's only room for one queen, princess, duchess. So perhaps that explains Meghan's abs. I mean, let's not forget I'm just going to mention this before we get into it. Was it Beatrice's wedding where Meghan basically was like at the reception, hey, I'm pregnant.
I think it was Eugenie, but yeah. Yeah. Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. But when it comes to Anna Wintour stepping down, it's not out of disrespect that I say this, but for her legacy, I think that her legacy is actually holding the brand back today. She was once the ultimate tastemaker, the gatekeeper of the fashion elite, but you know as well as I do that fashion and culture have evolved, and Vogue has struggled to evolve with it. I think that she alienated 50% of the country when she started putting just Democrats on the cover of Vogue, not putting.
Great point.
I don't care what you think about Melania Trump. She was a model. She was a supermodel, and she's a gorgeous woman, and she dresses so brilliantly. There's no reason to exclude her, and I think that she really drove a lot of people away from the publication when she started that.
As Michael Jordan famously said, Republicans buy Nike too.
Yeah, exactly.